Frequency Matters, the RF and Microwave Update Series. I'm Pat Hindle, and I want to introduce my new co-host, Tim Rainier. He just started as a technical editor. Tim, welcome to the show, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi, Pat. Thanks for the introduction. And can I just say I'm very happy to be here. I came to Microwave Journal with nearly 40 years of semiconductor industry. Most recently, I was with CML Micro, where I was a sales director selling RF and microwave gas and GaN mimics to the SATCOM market and aerospace and defense industry. My other RF background includes a few years at Amplifier Research and a couple more with Triquent, way before it became Corvo. I also spent a decade in the digital domain, selling ASICs for LSI Logic and working for two, unfortunately short-lived FPGA startups. But as I said, I'm very happy to be here at Microwave Journal, and I'm looking forward to leveraging and extending my microwave and millimeter wave knowledge and experience.
Well, we're really glad to have you aboard. So in this episode, we're going to cover our April amplifiers and oscillators themed issue products, since I covered the technical articles in the last episode. And as a reminder, the cover story is Technologies Empowering RF Signal Chain R&D for High Power Microwave Systems. And so this article looks at the test and measurement and analysis of the RF signal chain for these high power microwave systems, which are becoming a hot topic these days. So we're actually going to have another article on these in a few months. Our sponsors for this episode are RFMW and Infineon Hi-Rel. RFMW is a technical distributor of RF and microwave and power products. When you start your next design, please consider their product lines. Infineon Hi-Rel is a supplier of rad-hard and rad-tolerant IC and discrete power products for space, defense, and harsh environments. Please check out their websites and you can find out about their products. We had 3 product features in April. The first was a low dielectric constant materials for patch antennas from Bass Electron in Italy. They discussed how foam dielectric multi-layer patches improve performance, bandwidth, and directivity of antennas, and use some really unique PCB material stack-ups, so that's a good one to check out. Tim, what do we have for the other 2 product features?
Well, one was from Amplitech Group, who developed a private 5G platform that combines a 7.2 functional split Open RAN radio architecture, hardware accelerated baseband processing, and multi-vendor 5G core flexibility to offer an enterprise-level wireless infrastructure solution. It provides operational resilience, spectral efficiency, and autonomous operation without interruption. Our third product feature highlights a new family of broadband dual polarized antennas for 5G communications from A-Info Inc. out of Irvine, California. Operating in the 18 to 50 gigahertz band, these antennas can provide dual polarized radiation and maintain stable gain characteristics across the entire frequency band. A-Info also offers other models covering different frequency ranges.
And we had a special guest join us today, GP, Senior Director of Aerospace and Defense Strategy at Infineon Hi-Rel, joined me to discuss the advantages of GaN power products for space applications. Let's take a look at a clip from that now. Well, you talked about shrinking the footprint. What challenges are associated with the thermal management of GaN components in spacecraft systems?
That's a great question, Pat. As we all know, satellites are becoming very powerful these days. More processing in satellite means the power management that is associated is actually much more stringent. Now, with GaN, being able to do it smaller with an extreme power density, what that means is we actually have it to be smaller, as you rightly put, that leads to some thermal challenges. And what it creates is micro hotspots, the massive amount of heat in a very small, tiny package. And space engineers are adopting commercially available packages with multiple cool options to be able to work around those. Plastic packages that has the ability to have multiple cooling that is commercially being used is also being adopted in space.
It was great to talk to GP about GaN in space. A lot of advantages to that technology really taking hold in that area. Turning to the news, the biggest news item was certainly that Amazon.com and Globalstar have announced they've entered into a definitive agreement under which Amazon will acquire Globalstar. And this will enable Amazon Leo to add direct-to-device services to their low Earth orbit satellite network and extend cellular coverage to customers beyond the reach of terrestrial networks. In addition, Amazon And Apple announced an agreement under which Amazon Leo will power satellite services for iPhone and Apple Watch, including emergency SOS via satellite. The new capabilities are part of Amazon's long-term vision for space-based connectivity, and Amazon plans to work with mobile operators and additional partners to deliver on the vision and extend reliable high-speed connectivity to customers no matter where they are in the world. And then I also saw, according to a newly published forecast report from Del Oro Group, that the private wireless RAN revenue growth deaccelerated substantially in the second half of 2025. Initial estimates indicated that the private wireless RAN net revenue increased 16% in 2025, which is down nearly 2.5 times what it was in 2024. And a few findings that they had were that a full year private wireless RAN revenue accounted for 3 to 5% of total RAN revenue in 2025, and China's leading in the enterprise 5G, accounting for 40 to 50% of the global private wireless RAN revenue in 2025. And the top 3 private wireless RAN suppliers in 2025 include Huawei, Nokia, and Ericsson. And finally, the Wireless Broadband Alliance announced a new report on Wi-Fi security guidelines. And these guidelines define new industry framework designed to strengthen privacy, security, and trust across Wi-Fi networks, including public, enterprise, IoT, and roaming environments. And the guidelines address the growing need for carrier-grade security that aligns with user expectations. It's built on widely deployed technologies, including open roaming and Passpoint. And the report sets out a clear standards-based framework for securing Wi-Fi end-to-end, from device authentication through the physical and backhaul security, layer 2 protection, RATSAC adoption, federal governance, and readiness for post-quantum cryptography. Tim, what did you see in the news?
Well, according to Research Intello, the global market for EMC testing for data centers was valued at $1.2 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach $2.6 billion by 2033, expanding at a robust compound annual growth rate of 8.7%. This strong growth trajectory reflects the increasing complexity of data center environments and the rising need for uninterrupted, interference-free operations. The market expansion is closely tied to the surge in hyperscale data center construction, growing reliance on cloud computing, and the proliferation of high-performance computing workloads. As digital infrastructure becomes more critical across industries, investments in EMC testing are expected to accelerate further. And speaking of data centers, the demand for AI computing is surging, but the bottleneck isn't really chip availability anymore. It's the power to run these huge data centers. So Orbital announced funding from A16Z Speedrun, a venture capital firm in Silicon Valley, to support Orbital 1, the company's first test mission to deploy a data center in space. Orbital is designing and manufacturing a constellation of satellites to operate in low Earth orbit, each housing a cluster of NVIDIA-powered servers. Each satellite is powered by solar arrays and cooled by radiating heat directly into space. In space, solar power is available 24/7 if you're in a sun-synchronous orbit, and it's much stronger with no weather, no night, and no dependence on the power grid. This is an interesting concept, especially since it appears no one wants one of these data centers in their backyard. It'll be interesting to watch this market develop. Back to you, Pat.
Yeah, I thought that was such an interesting story that we got in contact with the CEO, and we hope to have a podcast on that in a few weeks from now. So turning to events, the IEEE Wireless and Microwave Technology Conference, or WWAMICon 2026, celebrated its 27th anniversary, taking place this week in Clearwater, Florida. WWAMICon 2026 highlighted intelligent heterogeneous radio hardware and emerging devices for next G wireless and beyond. And this event covers all the aspects of RF microwave and millimeter wave devices, circuits, and systems, along with hardware and software technologies enabling intelligent communications and sensing. So Tim, how about you for events?
Hey, Pat. IMS is right around the corner. Our IMS 2026 coverage will be starting soon, so check out our online show daily site starting in May for daily updates. I'll look forward to meeting everyone at the event this year in Boston. Well, that wraps up this edition of Frequency Matters. Our sponsors for this episode are RFMW and Infineon Hi-Rel. RFMW is a technical distributor of RF microwave and power management products. When you start your next design, consider their multiple product lines. Infineon Hi-Rel is a supplier of rad-hard and rad-tolerant IC and discrete power products for space, defense, and harsh environments. Please check out their portfolios on their websites. And remember, as a member of the industry, a subscription to Microwave Journal is free. So visit our site and subscribe today if you're not already a reader. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channels. Thanks for watching, and join us next time for Frequency Matters.